This is going to be a gauntlet review of a knife designed by Chris Tanner from Prepared Mind 101 and handcrafted by LT Wright Knives, the Jessmuk. Coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So this is going to be a gauntlet review of a knife that was designed by Chris Tanner from the YouTube channel Prepared Mind 101. I'm sure most of you guys know Chris. And it is manufactured by LT Wright Knives, who that right there tells you this is going to be a great knife. But it's kind of an unusual design. It's kind of patterned sort of after a Nessmuk style with a big curved belly blade. But it's got, of course, modern materials and modern features. And Chris and then LT, I'm sure they kind of put their own spin on it together. So I have not seen any of the other gauntlet reviews, and so I didn't want to kind of skew my opinion of this thing one way or the other. So if I do the same thing somebody else did, I'm sorry. If you want to check out all the other reviews of this knife and every other knife or piece of gear that goes to the Gauntlet, go to thegauntlet.tv. So without much further rambling, I'm trying to get some wood together prepared so I can actually check out a new stove. So we'll take you down to the old stump top and do some knife stuff with this thing and get ready for a little fire prep. Here we are at the old stump top. By the way, the Jessmuk is created from 1/8 inch 01 tool steel. It's full tang construction, about a 9.5 inch, 9 3/4 inch overall length, and about a 4.5 inch cutting edge. Maybe a little longer when you measure the belly. It's got a pretty pronounced belly on it, a la the kind of the Nessmuk style. Really nice micarta handles, fisheye pins, like, you know, sleeve lanyard hole, like all the other knives that I've ever seen from LT Wright. Is the fit and finish on this thing is exquisite. It's got a very comfortable handle. Chris did a great job on designing this handle, in my opinion. It's got just a little bit of a finger groove kind of right here. It really feels great on that. So it's really a reasonably large handle. I mean, I've got medium-sized hands, and you can see where it sticks out at the kind of the end. So it's not going to be too small for anybody's hand, I don't think, or really too large. It's just did a great job. It's got the little kind of divots right here for different maybe holes you might want to try. Just a little bit of a curve here. This is not a chopper by any stretch of the imagination, but we may do just a little bit of chopping with it to see how well it works. So I have got a piece of poplar here, which is the driest thing I got. It's been raining again here. It rained, I don't know, it seemed like 6 inches yesterday. Probably not, but we're going to just go ahead and do a little bit of chopping, maybe some cross batoning or something just to see, and then we'll see if we can get us a little bit of fire stuff going. So let's just see how well this thing might chop. See, I'm kind of holding it almost at the very end with just one finger, letting the lanyard kind of control it. Once again, that's not what this knife's designed for, to be honest with you. So let's do something else it's not designed for. And we'll do a little batoning here. We'll just do the same thing. We'll do some cross type batoning, cross grain batoning, because that'll maybe give you an idea of what this knife is capable of. And I'll try to turn around where you can see what we're doing here. So you can see it's biting in pretty well there, to be honest with you. I'm pretty impressed with that. It's kind of chopping. If you get to where you can see it, it's kind of hard to do this and get it on video. There we go. Get you out of the way now. And so again, 4.5 inch blade. It's not a tree chopper. But this bark is really wet too, by the way. Let's get that wet bark off of there. Kind of curious because don't have a lot of experience with these kind of curved belly blades, but we'll go ahead and kind of baton this little bit thing down to try to get some dry wood in the middle, because I do want to try to get some fire action going here with a stove. So I noticed that it kind of wanted to ride, maybe it's the belly or maybe it's me, but it kind of wanted to ride down towards the handle. So let's take it off there, see if we can get it off now. Let's try again. Start out here towards the end. Again, it's not really a... Okay, we got a big knot there. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's turn it over, take the other side. See if we can avoid the knot, if at all possible, because, you know, you got to be... Kind of split that knot right down the middle, so that was good. Do another one. Not cooperating, so, but that should be good to get us things kind of going here. So, you know, for what it's worth, you know, for the correct size and applicable size, it did okay for batoning. Let's get back down here and see what kind of feather action we can get going out of this thing now. Move you out of the way, because I do need to make a fire here. So we'll just... Now, and I have not retouched this edge at all. I don't know if you can see those little curls coming off there, but that's so cool. I'm using this outer portion right here. Uh-oh, lost a curl. Look at that. It's like a little seashell. Anyway, using this outer portion right here, it kind of wants to just really ride down and carve some nice little curls. When I try to use the inner portion, it does the same thing, but it runs out a blade here on me. So again, I just got to get used to using this kind of blade. So, not too shabby, to be honest with you. Some little bitty fine ones in there too. Now this thing has a really good 90-degree spine on it, so see how well this thing scrapes some more tinder out here. Okay, notice it's got that jimping right there, a little fine jimping. It's pretty comfortable. Doesn't really hurt your hands, although it's kind of sharp. I mean, it's definitely functional. I don't really know that I personally am not a big fan of jimping. One thing it does do, it kind of gets in my way when I'm scraping, because, you know, my thumb is only so long, and that's generally where my pressure is going to be. And if I put it out here to scrape, you know, on this part of it, it just doesn't have quite as good of leverage. But it scrapes good. Okay, so my memory card just died. Not sure what all came through, so I'll clear this out of the way just a little bit where you can see, hopefully. I'm got a little small piece here, trying to make some really tiny detail feathers. There's some pretty small ones in there, if you can see them. Let it focus in. Maybe we can get those to light with a ferro rod, because it's really, again, kind of damp now. To be honest about it, this thing has an absolutely crazy sharp spine. I mean, it's just sharp. So let's see what we get here. Here we go. Even kind of dampish. This did great. I mean, you know, absolutely wonderful. We should let that burn, because I like watching it burn. Okay, so I actually just tried to kind of do the standard test on this knife that you would do on any knife, because I know sometimes that gets boring, but you know, that's the only way to really compare this knife to any other knife you might be looking at, is to see how well it performs the same standard stuff. So chopping, you know, it's a light chopper, if anything. It's not really designed for that. I mean, if you needed to chop something with it, you could, but just, you know, you're going to be there a little while. But it does okay. You're not going to hurt it. For batoning, It's a 4.5 inch blade, so you know, anything that you can need to split within reason, it'll do it. No problem. I think where it really shined was in carving. I think this would probably be really great for skinning an animal or whatever because of the belly. But it just, using this little portion right here, it just really glides along the wood. And this has got a really good grind. Again, I haven't done anything to the edge, but you saw that I was really able to peel off those really tiny little curls with it. And then the 90-degree spine, really great. It is sharp. You know, the jimping, honestly, I could do without. To me, it kind of gets in the way sometimes when you're scraping, but it's not a big deal. It scrapes fine with the jimping or without jimping. Handle's extremely comfortable. Very nice fit and finish as always. You know, there's only one other test that I can think of that's pretty much standard to do across the knife industry. And I got to tell you, okay, this is not a cheap knife. This is a very nice, you know, handcrafted knife. And you should never do anything that could be construed as abuse with a knife like this. And, you know, that's all I'm going to say about that. You do not know how glad I am that I didn't hit an eye bolt or a brick or a rock or something. So this has been a Gauntlet review of the Jessmuk, designed by Chris Tanner, handcrafted by LT Wright Knives. Just a really well designed, well thought out take on the Nessmuk design, and I can say without any kind of hesitation, I like this knife. It feels great. It you know, I need to get used to using a belly like that, but I think it has some really distinct advantages, and I've used a couple others, and the more I use them, the more I like them. So I hope this has been helpful. Be sure and check out thegauntlet.tv to follow this knife and all the other Gauntlet gear and reviewers through the Gauntlet. As always, thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking that thumbs up, for sharing it with your friends, for watching those ads, and thank you so much for shopping on Amazon through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. See you next time. All right.